If you look at a global map of flight paths, you'll see a fascinating picture. A sky crisscrossed with bright lines connecting cities and continents. The busiest routes are over North America, Europe and East Asia, with the North Atlantic acting as a superhighway between Europe and North America. The Pacific too is busy, linking the Americas with Asia and Australia. Yet if you look south, the web of flight paths thins dramatically over the South Atlantic Ocean. This vast stretch between South America and Africa is remarkably quiet, with only a handful of flights. Why is this huge part of our planet so ignored by airlines? The answer isn't about danger or technology. Modern aircraft can easily make the journey. Instead, it's about demand. Airlines fly where people want to go and are willing to pay. The empty skies over the South Atlantic reflect deeper patterns of history, economics, and geography. As we explore this topic, we'll compare the bustling North Atlantic with its quiet southern sibling, and uncover the forces shaping these realities. We'll also look at the few flights that do cross, debunk myths about danger, and consider whether the South Atlantic might one day become a busier crossroads. The empty map is a snapshot of our world today, not its final chapter. The South Atlantic Ocean stretches over 3,000 kilometers at its narrowest. But that's no challenge for today's aircraft. Modern jets like the Boeing 787 and Airbus A350 are designed for long-haul flights, easily covering distances between South America and Africa. For example, Sao Paulo to Johannesburg is about 7,400 kilometers, well within their range. North Atlantic and Pacific routes are often even longer, yet see hundreds of flights daily. The technology to bridge the South Atlantic has existed for decades. Navigation and communication systems keep planes on course even over remote stretches. Weather can be challenging, but it's no different from other oceanic routes. The real issue isn't geography or safety. It's whether there's enough demand to justify the route. Airlines need full planes to make these flights profitable. The South Atlantic's emptiness is about economics, not engineering. The North Atlantic is the world's busiest oceanic airspace thanks to history, population, and economics. North America and Europe are home to wealthy nations and major cities, creating huge demand for travel. Deep historical ties and strong economic relationships fuel constant movement of people and goods. Business travel, tourism, and family connections keep planes full and fares competitive. In contrast, South America and Africa have weaker historical and economic links. Colonial trade routes connected these continents to Europe, not to each other. Brazil's main trading partner was Portugal, not Angola. Argentina's was Britain, not South Africa. These patterns established north-south pathways, not east-west across the South Atlantic. Even today, population and economic drivers for a busy South Atlantic corridor are lacking. Trade between Brazil and Nigeria, for example, is tiny compared to the US and Germany. Without strong business, cultural, or economic ties, demand for flights remains low. Airlines won't operate routes unless they can reliably fill seats. The South Atlantic's quiet skies are a direct result of these enduring divides. The main reason for the empty skies over the South Atlantic is simple. Not enough people want to fly between South America and Africa. Launching a new route is a major investment, and airlines need steady, predictable demand. The market is thin and fragmented. Only a few city pairs like Sao Paulo and Johannesburg have enough travelers. For most, it's easier and cheaper to connect through major hubs in Europe or the Middle East. The hub-and-spoke model consolidates demand, making long-haul flights viable. Major airports like London, Paris, and Dubai act as global sorting centers. Trade between South America and Africa is mostly bulk goods, shipped by sea, not air. Air freight is reserved for high-value, time-sensitive goods, and there's little of that between these continents. Without strong cargo demand to supplement passenger revenue, airlines can't justify new routes. The South Atlantic silence is a matter of numbers, not capability. Until demand grows, most travelers will keep connecting through distant hubs. Economics, not geography, keeps these skies empty. The history of flying across the South Atlantic is short but fascinating. Early crossings in the 1920s were daring feats by pioneering aviators, not commercial ventures. The 1930s saw flying boats carrying mail and a few wealthy passengers, but not mass travel. After World War II, long-range aircraft made direct flights possible, and airlines like Pan Am and South African Airways connected the continents. These routes were always niche, serving diplomats, business people, and adventurous tourists. Economic downturns and shifting airline strategies often led to their cancellation. When times get tough, these marginal routes are the first to go. The story of South Atlantic flights is one of ambition and fragile demand. Technology made it possible, but economics kept it rare. The South Atlantic isn't completely empty. There are a few direct flights connecting South America and Africa. The most prominent route links São Paulo and Johannesburg, operated by South African Airways and LATAM. This makes sense. Brazil and South Africa are the largest economies on their continents, with growing trade and business ties. Another key route connects São Paulo and Luanda, Angola, operated by TAG Angola Airlines. Shared language and cultural ties between Brazil and Angola create unique demand. These flights serve business travelers, families, and tourists, but only between specific city pairs. Beyond these, private jets and occasional cargo flights cross the ocean, but numbers are small. For most city combinations, there's no direct service. Travelers from Santiago to Cape Town, for example, must connect through distant hubs, adding hours to their journey. The few direct flights are lifelines, but they serve only a fraction of potential connections. The South Atlantic remains a quiet corridor, with only a handful of exceptions. These routes highlight just how specific and limited the demand really is. For now, the vast majority of travelers still take the long way around. Some believe the South Atlantic is dangerous for aviation, but that's a myth. Technically, flying over the South Atlantic is as safe as any other oceanic route. Modern jets are certified for long-range operations with reliable engines and advanced safety systems. ETOPS certification allows planes to fly hours from the nearest airport, making the South Atlantic easily accessible. Diversion airports and emergency procedures are in place just like elsewhere. Weather can be challenging, but modern radar and forecasting keep flights safe. Pilots can see and avoid storms, and air traffic control provides constant updates. In fact, oceanic airspace often offers more flexibility to avoid weather than crowded land routes. Safety standards, training, and technology are the same worldwide. The lack of flights is about economics, not danger. Airlines make decisions based on demand and profitability, not fear of the unknown. The South Atlantic's silence is a business calculation, not a safety concern. The South Atlantic is quiet today, but that could change. Economic and demographic growth in Africa and South America may create new demand for direct flights. As middle classes grow, so will tourism and business travel between the continents. Increased trade in high-value goods could boost air cargo demand. Advances in aircraft technology like long-range single-aisle jets could make new routes profitable. Airlines may test new city pairs as demand rises. Political and economic partnerships could also drive better connectivity. Simplified visas and new air service agreements might encourage airlines to launch routes. The North Atlantic will remain dominant, but the South Atlantic's era of silence may be ending. The future could see this vast ocean become a vital bridge between two rising continents.